time to let it out. It's time to let it go. Parts of my past I can't control. So tonight we're celebrating. What tried to break me, but now I'm stronger, stronger, stronger. But tonight, my dance floor is a stars. Yeah. But tonight.
Welcome back. And yes, I'm going to keep this because we're laughing and I think it's good. Welcome back to the Ethereal Pathways podcast. I'm your host, Jasmine, and I have a special guest with me today on this episode, and it's Anthony Rasey, and he has been in 3 of my episodes prior to this, with his initial interview that lasted, 3 episodes. We had to break it up in segments. So welcome, Anthony, again. Welcome
back. It's so good to be back. I'm so glad to be a recurrent character.
Right. Well, just so, let's go ahead and just put it out there. We have been discussing a collaboration together that we both feel kind of guided to do that. Work together to maybe have a joint podcast in the future, and even travel around and speak about our journeys, our healing journeys, spiritual insights, things like that come up, and also help people heal. That's something we're kind of being guided to do. And so if anybody in the audience is interested in maybe a live event, like a podcast event with both of us, where you can shoot out different topics you want to discuss. Maybe we'll collect that ahead of time before the event and have a deadline, or Q&A, during that event. Then please, comment below and we'll put that in. So that's something that we're discussing doing, because I think a lot of people have a lot of questions out there, or things they want people to talk about and share different perspectives on it, or insights that we get, downloads and things like that we get from spirit. So I think that would be a wonderful way of getting people more involved and educating them as well. So we're looking forward to doing that, aren't we, Anthony?
Yes. And so what Jasmine is saying is spot on. We literally, this idea came out of our very first pre-interview, where we spent more than 2 hours just like this right here.
Yeah.
just talking. And I'm just, she knows I just say whatever comes out. We instantly bonded.
Yep.
And we don't just chat on this podcast. We text each other whenever we need to. We have a connection because I always know when I need to send her a little one-line message. What's happening?
Something's going on. I can feel it.
And so we are going to run with this. That I have seen us, I've already had visions of us being on stage. I've already had a vision of us having a live Q&A session. I've seen us to where someone's helping produce us, to where we can have call in and we can have the live version on stage as well, to where we're using our different gifts to be able to help other people that are in the same transition that we're going through right now, which is basically awakening and healing and learning how to do the work. And there's something that Jasmine has been really good about. She has picked up on the fact that, and other people have told me this. Now I have a TikTok account where, as a flight attendant, I take screenshots or short videos of the sky when I'm in flight, because it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'll get a message sent to me immediately about what I'm supposed to overlay with that. And sometimes I think she's not doing anything at work, because she'll go through like 30 of my videos and she'll like all of them all at once.
That's because I'm on break in the bathroom or something.
Oh yeah, she's on break, yeah.
Well, I usually am. Like, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'll take it.
We both feel compelled to help others. So in one of our interviews, and maybe our first interview, Jasmine, came out and you said, as a flight attendant, you could see me doing this on my planes. And I use the same gift with my passengers. I do read their energy. I do try to help them. And she gave this beautiful analogy of how after you fly with that person and they have that renewed energy that they're left with, and they go to someone else and they go to someone else, and it's like this ripple effect of small rain
Activate.
on water.
Yeah, it's
The
activation.
ripple effect
Yep.
is endless. And so that's what we're wanting to like connect with as many people as possible, to share this message out there. And we come from two different sides of the spectrum here. She is way further advanced than I am. I was just woke up
Certain ways, we all have our individual gifts, but
like in May and June, so I'm really short into it, but it's been like an uphill, climb to learn everything. And that's what kind of happens when you're new. You're trying to learn everything as you go along. You're trying to do research. You're trying to watch videos. You're trying to, I have 40 something Google pages open that have words in it that I've had to Google spiritually to figure out what that means. Then I go back to it and I go, oh yeah, that's what that means.
yeah.
And trying to step into my gifts without being pompous. So that's kind of where I am with it.
That's that thin line you gotta walk all the time, is constantly trying to stay surrendered and humble.
Yes.
But also have that spiritual boldness and confidence about you. And it's just walking that thin line of listening to your spirit, staying that in the surrender. And it's hard to do. Keep the ego, at bay sometimes. So it's constant, balancing act. I know I go through that. I have a lot of Leo in my chart in Sagittarius, and I have Sagittarius and Jupiter, so I struggle with being in the spotlight, and then I feel like I want to be. It's a constant push-pull thing, and so I constantly battle that. But I do feel like there's going to be some kind of travel involved in whatever my life purpose is, to speak to people to help them heal in some way. And so it's not something, let's just say, I ever wanted to do in the past. I've been terrified. I mentioned this on a previous podcast of mine about getting up in front of people, number one, and how I purposely avoided college path that had any kind of major presentations and stuff in it. Public speaking. I was so terrified of that. And even when I loved singing and I would sing karaoke, I had at least 2 drinks before I got up on stage to sing, and I closed my eyes. So, yeah, I got stage fright really bad. And I just think it's really funny how God has a funny sense of humor. And it's like the one thing, I've heard this from my friend Emily, the one thing that you're terrified of the most is usually what your life purpose is related to. Like, you got to do that to move into your life purpose. And so I thought that was funny, because that's the one thing I'm most terrified about, is being in front of people and having people watch me and look at me and being up on on a stage. I'm like, no.
Well, tell them how you had to overcome that with your own podcast. How many times did you start and then you got to a point?
Yeah. I had 2 false starts. I got the pull to do it about a year ago. It was about September, October last year. And back then I was still in contact with my twin flame. And he had lost his job, I don't know, a few months before that. And we were just here and there talking, not every day, but just texting mostly. And I don't know, I told him, I think I need to do this. And he was encouraging me to do it. I was like, okay. I started, I got about, I don't know, roughly 10 videos in, and I felt stuck. And the same thing happened the second round, and I'm like, what is it? I feel like I'm lost, I feel like I've expressed everything and I've just felt stuck. And I didn't know what it was exactly, but there was something there, a hidden fear, and I don't know, my creative ability and everything felt stuck. And then I realized that part of that was my connection with my twin. I was staying connected to him, and my essence was being used. And so my creative essence was being siphoned to him, and he was creating for him and his wife. I was like, oh, and he wasn't giving to me hardly at all. It was breadcrumbing. I mean, he was hardly talking to me, hardly giving me any time. We had tried to connect 3 times to set up a date. I was going to give him his birthday present as a friend, and we were going to, say hi and catch up, and that it never happened. And he just kept saying how busy he was. I'm busy. And I'm like, really? You talk to these other friends when you say you don't have time for me, so I'm not buying that. So I think it was a combination of things. But, you know, again, I didn't want to interfere with his relationship, so I just got it, you know, the download to just, he's siphoning that, you're letting him use that essence to create, and your abundance is going there. And I was like, oh, that's why I'm having some financial stuff. I was like, oh, heck no. And I cut him off. But it was after that, I tried to relaunch it, and I got about the same distance in. I still didn't realize that I was still holding on to him, and I was still holding on to, you know, some subconscious fears of being in the spotlight and putting myself out there. Again, I didn't feel good. I felt unworthy. I didn't feel like I was good enough to share whatever I had to share, that anybody else could share this. Like, why do I have to? What is it so special about me? It was when I had that reading with Molly in the spring, and in June, well, it was June, that set me free. And 6 days later, I met soulmate. So I'm like, that's what broke me free. And it was like all weekend. I think I had the reading like Thursday or Friday night, and I mean all weekend I was crying. I think it was Saturday morning actually. I was crying all weekend from that. It was like something, the dam broke. Whatever that fear was of not being good enough, not being worthy, it broke. And I mean, I got so inspired after that, and I was like, boom, I got to work, and I mean, I got serious this time, and I got subscriptions, I got graphics, and I never did all that before. So I think, you know, me needing that release of that fear of being on the stage, knowing that it's for a higher purpose, I've got to get myself out of it and surrender my ego, because it's for the good of all, and it's for healing. People need to hear this. It's important.
Right.
And no matter what I feel like it might be, I have to detach from my own judgment of what the message I'm sharing, because it's for somebody out there. Yeah. And I had to learn how to follow my intuition on that. And I can tell you, there's some weeks I don't even know when I'm going to record that week, but it always comes right before the designated time that I've set aside to do the podcast recording. It always comes to me intuitively. Like, sometimes it's something that's been lingered for a couple weeks that I feel pressed to talk about, like my mom, you know, for the last episode. That was on my heart to share for like 2 weeks. Not even realizing what I was going through in my personal life with my soulmate was directly related to a wound from my own mother of control and, you know, pushing and controlling. And I had no idea how the dynamics of that directly correlated with my podcast. And so I love how that's working into it intuitively. God's working it in as part of my therapy. It's the public speaking is part of my therapy for myself. I'm transmuting that pain and those hard lessons into purpose, into helping others heal and sharing
that
my story.
You're transmitting your pain into your power.
Right.
And when we think about all the other Jasmines in the universe that need to hear that same story, the same situation that they can recognize you in and themselves in as a mirror, then it will give them the catalyst. Well, look, here she's doing this. Why can't I do something like this? And that you might give someone else that courage. Right. Now, what's interesting is my channel is completely different from what you do, because I have an aquascaping channel, but mine was divinely led, and my channel is only 8 months old. But I was guided to come out further spiritually in my channel. So I kind of like embraced it, and I started telling the truth about every build starts with a trip with Mother Nature, and everything from Mother Nature is divinely guided. And I feel that. But I've been getting these further messages to tell the story more. There's a bigger platform out there. More people need to hear it. And that's why I think we are destined to have this new joint platform, and that we're going to reach a larger audience. And I feel very comfortable with that, because right now I had the same doubts you had. I thought people would make fun of me or whatever behind the camera. I know nothing about this hobby, but I was forced to do it. When I say forced to do it, I mean forced to do it. I mean, Spirit would not let me not
Yep.
do this channel. It was that bad.
It starts as gentle
And
nudges and then it goes, you must do this.
yes, you don't have a
You
choice.
don't have a choice now.
It's like, I want to say that I can't remember. The part of being a Syrian is aesthetic, pleasing aesthetics in your environment was one of the traits. And I resonated that was every time I do a build.
Oh, so just to clarify that, y'all, when he says Syrian, he doesn't mean
Oh,
culture
yeah,
of
sorry.
Earth. He means Syrian starseed.
Yes.
So I was like, I just caught that. I'm like, some people are gonna probably, if they don't know about that, they're probably
True. Yes,
like,
yes.
we're Syrian,
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm from another star system.
right? Oh my.
And I had to Google, okay, like we off the camera, we talk about how much we have to Google AI to answer all of our spiritual questions because it's the best ever. And your AI knows you, okay? It's
Yep.
just, that's all I'm going to say. They know you. Well, I Googled it and I asked specifically for the character traits. And when I started reading the character traits, it got down to there's an A, B, and a C. I went all the way down to C. And then I read the postscript on C, and my mouth was on the floor. I was just jaw dropped about, oh my God, that is me 110%. Because I'm not happy with any build until it meets my design aesthetic criteria. It's what drives me to create a build because I'm putting life into it. I'm always pretty much in my feminine. And
Yeah.
that's what something that Jasmine and I discussed in our very first interview. She's like, oh God, no, I see you and you're feminine. I mean, because I'm always birthing something. But part of the new mission going forward is to get that message out there that more people need to hear this because more people are going to be woken up. And since just we have been talking, there have been advances. I want to say the 999 portal is something we were going to talk about because
Yeah. The eclipse is mainly in September this month that we're in right now. I mean, if you're obviously watching this later, we're talking about September 2025. We have the September 7th blood moon. I've got this over here pulled up. September 7th blood moon lunar eclipse, which was huge for me. It shook up my life in some karmic cycles and brought them to the surface to be dealt with and released. And so it was huge. It says it symbolizes release, surrender, and karmic endings, inviting introspection and emotional healing, particularly in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is known to be water-based sign. That's all about emotions, right? Inner emotions. The September 21st solar eclipse that we just had a few days ago represents new beginnings, grounding, and intentional rebuilding in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is all about, the practicality, the details, structure. And routines, health and boundaries, it says as well. Together, these eclipses mark a powerful turning point for personal transformation, encouraging a letting go of illusions to create space for a more aligned and authentic self. And I can tell you in my personal life, I was telling Anthony about this, and I'll share this with the audience, with a huge shakeup in my friendship / situationship with my new soulmate, guy friend. And, we've been kind of hanging out and moving in that direction of moving towards a dating relationship for about 3 months now. And it was great up until my fears were triggered. And I felt being confined and pushed. He didn't. It's like it wasn't intentional. We were both triggering each other's wounds, inner wounds, the end of abandonment and things like that. And it came to blows, like not blows physically, but we were butting heads over it. We were triggering each other's wounds, and we were going to a fight or flight response. And we were going into this push-pull dynamic. And one shut down and ghosted me, and then I'm like, "What? We promised we wouldn't do this." And then, the other one, I would shut down because I misunderstood something he said, and went into a pullback. So it brought it up to our attention, and we're like, hey, we're in this toxic cycle. We got to end this. Like, we got to talk about this right now. Let's get this out. Let's nip it in the butt. Let's talk it out. and let's be rawly authentic and with our true feelings, what it made us feel like, so we can understand each other and so we can get rid of the cycle. Because this is not, we can't do this. We love each other greatly, with a very deep love, and we both invested a lot already into this relationship, and we see great potential with it. And we just didn't want to, neither one of us really wanted to throw away, but yet we were being triggered into that response because we felt there was rejection coming, or there was rejection there. And so that's kind of how it played out on my end. The day of the blood moon, I came back from a trip from Nashville, Tennessee, and we went to the Parthenon. Great mythology, hello. And yes, I am tied to Greece in a past life. So that was like huge for me. I've always been tied to Greek mythology and things like that. It just made, it's like I remembered it. And the zodiac signs and all that, like, it's huge for me. So the day I came back was the day of that. And I can tell you I had a huge shift in my emotional state. I was shut down. It was time of my cycle, I guess, for that. But also the fact that that meant the endings. Everything was coming up to a head the week before that. Right before I left for the trip, I started slowly withdrawing. And I was feeling triggered even then. And leading up to it, a lot of times people will say, 4 or 5 days before an eclipse or a full moon, you'll start to feel the effects of it. And 4 or 5 days, maybe 3 to 5 days after. So I was already starting to feel the effects of that before we left for the trip. He saw the signs too. And then I came back and I was like a different person. Like, I just shut down, I withdrew, I pushed him away. And when he was trying to get me to open up, pushing me to open up, I was like, nope, I'm done, I can't do this. And I pushed him away and said some things that, I kind of surprised me, honestly, because that's not really what I felt for him, but I felt like I was being already triggered and to push him away anyway. Because it was getting too deep for me emotionally, and I was getting, some fears were coming up about abandonment and rejection and things. I don't know why, but it was. So the lunar eclipse was bringing that up in my life to be dealt with, because this has been a toxic karmic cycle in every relationship I've had. I didn't see that until it came to a head, and he completely ghosted me, withdrew, and he had other things going on in his life that the lunar eclipse has been dealing with him about on his end, and was going through an ego death at the same time. And it just came to a head. Like, we clashed, all that blew up. We thought it was the end of the relationship 2 or 3 times, and then I was like, dude, you see what's going on here? Like, I could clearly see it now. Like, a week, I'm like, we're triggering each other's wounds, and we're getting into this push-pull. This is what I did in a way with my twin flame. A year ago, like 2 years ago, whatever. I said, and I see it now. This is a cycle I'm going through. And they always say, like, for those of you who are twin flames, that's what you do. That's what the twin reflects back to you, is what you're going on within yourself, your wounds. They trigger that, and he mirrors it back to you. But it doesn't mean that the twin is the only one that mirrors it back to you, because everybody in your life mirrors that back to you in some way. And how you show up for yourself, and what your wounds are. And so when he started doing the same thing my twin did, I went, wait a minute. This is a site, that means I'm the common factor. That means it's me. And that's when I had this shift within me that, oh my God, I've got to move past this fear of full commitment. I've had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, waiting for my twin to come back or whatever, back in the back of my head, holding out hope that we would reconcile and at least collaborate or something together. I gotta let him go. And I've got to go all in. And I've got to tell him this, and I've got to show it in my actions, or I'm going to lose him. And I think I knew that it was a little too late at that point, but I still needed to do it for myself. And so I threw myself out there in a leap of faith, and I was like, okay, I'm going all in. I'm going to end this cycle of fear, and I'm going to go all in and commit right now. Like, and it was not the best choice, what I'd chosen to do with those actions, what I offered him, but for me it was huge, because, and even you said that, Anthony, that it was a sign of pushing, like ending that cycle of fear and running head on into it, and me not knowing what's on the other side of that cliff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm taking a leap of faith off a cliff. I don't know if there's another step on the other side, because I've got clouds in front of me. I don't know what's on the other side. There could be rejection There could be utter rejection, but I got to put my heart out there fully, and fully meaning it and be authentic. And I knew I had to do that. And so I chose something. I just threw it out there. And I said, look, I did it. Like, okay, I got over it. And I was so proud of myself. But his reaction wasn't what I expected. Because, again, it was like too much. And we had hurt each other so much. And it just was like he shut down completely to everybody. It wasn't just me, it was everybody. And I took it as rejection. I went into, I need to know what's going on with this. I had a discussion, we need to define this, and, I need that security. I'm looking for that security outside of myself. Again, I've been working on that too. So all these wounds were just coming up to the surface to be dealt with that had been really coming up karmic cycles. It's a toxic karmic cycle from a childhood wound. And I hadn't seen it before. I finally saw it for what it was. I called it out to him, and I called it out to myself, and I said, I want to end this. I don't want this anymore in my life. And I asked God, I said, please take this from me. I don't want this fear anymore. I'm looking at head on, and I'm going to move past it, and I'm not going to let it control me anymore. And I'm going to change my ways. And I told him to help me. I said, if you want me to remain in your life, just please help me work through this. And so we kind of had to take some time, and anyway, we've had a huge breakthrough emotionally in the last 24 hours with each other. And so it really helped me release the outcome, and I'm trying so hard, just stay in release and surrender the outcome, because again, I'm learning that's the best way to attract what aligns with you and what you truly desire, your true heart's desires and things, what you're trying to manifest, is to detach from the outcome. So I had to surrender it to God, and every day I have to do that and say, okay, God, I'm going to take it day by day. I'm going to love Him in the moment, try to stay in the moment, because that's, again, another thing I'm being taught. Quit staying in your head, because I overthink everything. I got Aquarius rising, so I'm always analytic. I'm always in my head. I'm always overanalyzing everything, and I overthink everything, and that's a struggle I have. And then I've got, I gotta release it and then just kind of live in the moment, in the present moment, and feel the feelings and everything in the moment. And that's something that God's really been working on with me, and letting go of control issues of needing to know the outcome, needing to know where we're going, who are we defining this? I need to know right now, so I feel secure. Like, everything's got to be in a box, everything's got to be, just so, and have these rules, and so I can control myself, and I can feel safe.
Yeah.
He's telling me to let go of it. And so that's the end of a karmic cycle, which is what the lunar eclipse was about.
Yeah.
And after the fact, after the solar eclipse happened, and then we had this shift the next week, when the solar eclipse happened, that, a few days after, is when we had this breakthrough in our relationship. And we realized it was total miscommunication between us. We apologized to each other profusely, for him for shutting down, me for shutting, Mine wasn't miscommunication from him, but he didn't know, he's still struggling with words to communicate properly. So his was a struggle with communicating properly what he was thinking, and I tried to clarify it, and I was thinking he meant something else. So that was a common miscommunication, but as far as the rest of it, we both had a huge shift in wanting to start over. And so that was the solar eclipse, the new beginnings. We're going to try to see if we can have a new beginning. He's got to, get things in order on his end. He's got to work on a couple things in his personal life, and I know I'm there to help heal him in an aspect, and he's healing me. These karmic cycles and feeling worthy of love, that kind of love, because he's shown me love that I've never felt from anybody, up until now. The level of love and dedication. Support that I've been wanting and needing, and I had in my life partner list. They tell you to write down what you desire in a life partner and try to manifest it, and that's 90% of it he already had. He just had that little 10% or so of it that he had been trying to work on, and I felt like I'm there to help him move past that. And a lot of that is his inner healing and releasing these old traumas from his past that were very deep. And so it was huge. So the solar eclipse really and who knows what it's going to hold for the future. But I do see how it played out in my life, where there was a new beginning, there was an ending in both of our lives, and then there was a new beginning, in both separately and together for both of us. So
I think it's important to tell the people that are out there right now that because of where Jasmine is at, she's got all these issues that can come forward and deal with it. Now, if you're new and you're just waking up, a lot of this is not going to make sense to you
Right.
because you you literally have to experience it and then Google it to understand what's happening. Or do what we do. We have people that we watch online that are tarot channelers and that can
Some
give
don't
you
do tarot at
really
all, they're just spiritual channelers, yeah.
their channel. Okay, they give you the, I don't know, sometimes the roadmap or the signs that you're kind of like that's relevant to you, and you can kind of do your research from there. But the difference in how someone like Jasmine is at her level where she's at, and she's recognizing things, and she can pick up on patterns. A lot of you may be thinking, well, I've had all these relationships that have ended because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, you need to research X, Y, and Z and find out what the common denominator was. Maybe it's not as simple as what you thought as another person's fault. You need to look at it from a higher perspective and pull your emotions out of it. Because a lot of times, this is something we had talked about in my interview, and something that we had wanted to bring up in our podcast, our joint podcast, is an issue of, like for my childhood, was abandonment that started at birth. And so we can take an issue that started in your childhood and go forward decades into adulthood and realize how that same issue is affecting you in the present and how has it affected you in the past. And you don't realize it until you really start to open up,
Yeah.
wake up, and start doing the work.
Yeah.
One thing really interesting to me about Jasmine's trajectory and her history is her mother. And Jasmine has a lot of mirroring, in my opinion, of what her mother did because she was raised by this woman and she saw how she reacted. And then Jasmine kind of took that mantle and went forward. For some of you out there watching this, it's going to be the same for you. You know that however you're raised is what you're comfortable with, whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, or just gray, and you don't know any difference until you become enlightened to it. That's the kind of point I'm trying to make here, is that things happen and it's not as easy as putting a band-aid on it and moving on to the next person. You're going to carry the baggage until you deal with the baggage, until the adult can cradle the child and tell them you're sorry, and you will protect them from that point forward. So that if anyone triggers you in a way, you can acknowledge it and you can deal with it and you can move past it and heal from it. So the next point I wanted to talk about is, while Jasmine was going through this, and I knew it was, I sent her one text and I was like, what's going on?
She
Then a
knew.
flood came
She
out.
picked up on
And then that was a phone conversation
we hadn't
that
talked
took
in like,
hours.
what, 2 weeks or something, a week or two.
Yes.
We hadn't talked,
Yes.
but you knew something was going on.
Okay, so for me, some of you don't know that I'm also a flight attendant. And for the past I left my husband 2 years ago. Now, we're not divorced. We live in different states. And I think I've been in hermit for 2 full years because even on my layovers, I've not been getting out. I've been just staying in the hotel room. I didn't know why. I didn't have any energy. I did not know why I was feeling the feelings I did. I did not know why my marriage was so crappy. And I didn't know about love bombing. I didn't know about breadcrumbing. I did not know about, yes, emotional manipulation, yes. But I didn't know the level of it was until I started getting information about it. And then so since I kind of woke up, and since our first interaction, Jasmine and I, and how her interviewing me opened up oh my God, it was like floodgates. Well,
Yeah.
when we went through this portal, and I'm going to back up. Okay, so the last month I saw a big shift in my attitude. I saw a change. I saw brightness. I started going out on my layovers again. If a hotel had a tub, I was going to take a bath. Okay, I'm going to tell the story that I told the last time because I think it's hysterical. So I had this intuition of taking a bath and putting shampoo and lotion and all this gel stuff into the tub at a hotel. Now, I don't have a bathtub where I am, and I love baths. So if I have a hotel that has a bath, yes, I know it may not be the cleanest thing in the world, but I'm still going to do it. Get in, and I'm sitting here, and I start with the lotion, and I start at my feet and go all the way to my head. And I start saying things like, I'm nourishing my vessel. Okay, does that resonate with anybody? Do we call our bodies a vessel? No, I've never done that before in my life. Things are coming out of my mouth in my meditations, and I have meditations now that can go over an hour, and I can do 4 a day if I need to. I can do it while I do it while I'm at work. I mean, I could do it while I'm actually talking to a passenger. I could be talking to my guides in the divine in my head and saying something.
I do it while walking a lot.
I mean, it's
or cleaning.
And I feel, I feel like a closeness. I've been told to get out in nature. I do it in nature now. I get up at 4 a.m. I go to a park. I walk around until I purge everything out. And to me, the best cry is a cry during a prayer meditation, because that's when you really release it and that your angels are there to protect you. But what happened to me 2 weeks ago, and I made point to tell Jasmine about it, after I had to go through her dissertation of what she was going through, I was like, okay, this happened to me.
Sorry about that, by the way.
No, I love making fun of her. Okay, I should tell them what I called you.
I get that from. I'm like, even my guy friend. Well, he was on the podcast, Derek. Even he told me, he's like, you need to have that one friend that you can just tell them anything and they'll understand and they'll be there for you.
Oh, she's there. She's already there.
He's like, that's already there. Thank you, Anthony.
Hysterically, I came up with 2 words today in a text because she had sent me the details of the last thing that was happening. I had a 2-word answer to her, and she knows exactly how to do it with love.
When he gets off a flight.
I mean, it's all in love, but for some reason, my sense of humor comes through spiritually as well. So I saw myself in one of my prayer meditations in a bathtub in a foreign city, going through a portal, and I saw my body on a stone platform, just like you would do an Egyptian before the cover was put down. Except I had this very sheer covering that we would call it liquid silk, I think. And it covered my body, and then rain just rained on me in this meadow and on a cliff. Of course, it was beautiful because it was in my mind. It was beautiful. And this silky thing turned into like a gel, like a clear gel that was maybe 3 or 4 inches thick that encased my whole body. And as the rain kept happening, I saw light coming down through the rain, like little squiggles of light. The gel washes away and the light goes inside me, and then I knew what was happening. I get up and I look over the cliff, and there I can see all the animals in the ocean, and they're all connected by the same light. I step foot in the forest area where I am, and every time I take a step, I step on something and then light just spans out from it. And I'm like, okay, I get it.
It reminds you of the Matrix. Did you say that? Like when Neo finally sees all the numbers and all that, and
the light comes down.
That dimension.
The light
sees it from where it is.
Yeah, the light is in us. The earth is living. The earth is light. Everything is light. We're all light. That's it. That's all I can see. I know where my light comes from. It comes from the divine. The divine created everything, so we're light. So after seeing that, it was this week later that on a Thursday morning, I woke up, and I knew immediately when I woke up something was very different. I had no worries whatsoever. Now, I am so far in debt because of aquascaping, and, well, let's just leave it at that.
We both got our financial stuff.
I'm not worried about how I'm going to pay my bills. I have not one worry since that Thursday 2 weeks ago. Like all of us that have worries every single day, we worry about this, worry about that, blah, 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 blah. No, it's gone. So I started talking about it immediately in a prayer meditation. I said, is this what it's like? Oh my God, this is amazing. This is what it's like. It's like not to have a worry. I love this. I don't want this to go away. Oh my God, please don't let this go away. Because it's just refreshing. It's like I go to work, no worries. It's just every single day. And so I didn't know what that shift was. And I had to have Jasmine explain it to me. So it's just interesting that once you embrace, I mean, some things are scary. I'm not going to lie. Some things are scary that you have to work through. You have to work through your shadow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell an experience that just happened days ago. I have been blocking my husband spiritually and with Archangel Michael's.
You said you're your twin flame.
Yeah. Oh, he is a
I just
fallen
want to clarify that for the audience if they have.
Yes, he is a twin flame. Okay, so for you guys to know, I only dated for 3 weeks and I married him because the first time I met him in person, I had a billboard sign in my head say, with a mechanical arm that went like this, that's the man you're going to marry. Right there. Done. I trust my signs. I was in it for the long haul. I did not know that the person I had dated up to that point did not show up for the marriage. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So he is a fallen twin flame. And when I blocked him, he no longer had access to my light. I did not know he was feeding off of my light. He had always had a connection to me, but I did not have a connection to him. So he was using my light as his energy. When I blocked him, his life started falling apart and he started freaking out.
Yep.
Because he did not know what to do. He had no idea where I was. He had no clue that I would ever block him, that I would ever turn from him. He thought that I was attached to him and there may have been some underhand magic going on at the same time. I don't know. I can't confirm it, but it's my suspicion. We'll leave it at that. So I was in a prayer meditation because I know I have a kingdom spouse coming forward. And for those of you who don't know, a kingdom spouse is someone that the divine has picked for you. I have manifested my own kingdom spouse, and my kingdom spouse has manifested me. This I've heard in many, many readings. It's a mutual, and we have a past life connection. So I know it's happening. I've seen him in images. I've seen him in, not even when I'm sleeping, I've had third eye visions of him. I've seen our connection. We kissed in one of them and I saw every emotion we've ever had. So I know it's there. I know it's real. I've seen where he lives. I haven't seen the outside, just the inside. And I have no doubt he's coming forward. So in that stream of things, my husband is trying to make a comeback. It's not going to work because my trajectory is with someone else. But in this trying to block him, I was in prayer meditation specifically about, oh yes, I'm really over my husband and I'm ready for Robert to come forward. And this is what was said to me in a dream. And I've always told my guides, please, if you're going to send me something to dream, make sure I wake up and I remember it. Or if it's a song, make sure I hear it and I wake up. I woke up right at the moment where they told me, your feelings are way too raw and you're not done with this. And it wasn't 2 days later that I was on the phone for the first time talking to him and was in a massive masculine and just bitched him out like crazy for 30 minutes on the phone until I calmed down and then was able to actually have a real conversation about our relationship. But what I thought was funny is I started laughing in prayer meditation as soon as I woke up because they also sent me a song and they know I like rock music. So they sent me a rock music song.
What song was it? Because I get
I don't remember what it was now, but it was something. It was the lyrics of "You're not done and you've got work to do," and so I started laughing. And I said, "You guys have the best sense of humor." Okay, and I told them I will talk to him within the next 3 days, and so I did it on day 2. So I kept my bargain. But that's what it's like when you open up. You receive the information when you need it. It's not always maybe packaged the way you think it's going to be packaged. It's not like, oh, do X, Y, and Z,
right?
and this happens. No, you're going to have to work through your own issues until you get to that point to where you're both. The divine's not going to put you with someone that's not at your level,
Yeah.
especially if you have a mission. And so that's what's
I can tell
interesting
you
about
that mine,
Jasmine's story
definitely on my level.
about, yeah, Jasmine has a very specific mission. I know that I'm a light worker, and my mission is really very broad, just to enlighten humanity, to raise up humanity. So I thought it was through my channel, but now I've been giving more information that I can do more than that. And it's the collaboration we're talking about. We're both getting messages about collaboration and getting our message out there.
And healing.
So that's
Healing
why we
collective.
want to
Yep.
do something like this. Yeah.
Yeah. And healing, I think, is a lot of what I'm seeing on a collective scale. A lot of light workers are in twin flames are waking up to that life mission and that life purpose to heal the collective, to work, move into your life purpose work, whatever it is, speaking, teaching, guiding. A lot of it is online, but some people do travel and do that, and I'm seeing it more and more the last several years, where that's coming online more, and more of us are awakening, and we're activating others. We're activating others in the collective, and trying to get that wave going. There's a huge wave that is now. People are really starting to shift. Now I'm not going to say everybody is, because I do believe there's a 3D, 5D split. Some do decide that they're not ready and they're going to stay in their toxic, lower vibrational ways. And there's no judgment for that. Each soul has to learn what it wants to learn. And some of that may be in their shadow. And this lifetime, it may be in that. So that's their personal choice. But for those who want to ascend, we're going to split off according to what we believe. Split off into a 5D earth and ascend with the earth, which, from what I understand, has never been done before with a planetary, soul being, Gaia, before. Now, like, this is like a new thing. We're all ascending together, she and us together, and so that's a pretty big. And we're being watched by the cosmos. All of the beings out in the galaxies and things. This is a big event, and so we're all coming together, we're all being activated and coming online for the grid, activating the grid lines. I've been tied to crystals and the crystalline grid. I do believe I'm a grid worker and a light worker combination, and I work with the earth. And I'm really tied to the water, especially salt water. I am tied back to Atlantis and Lemuria. So I just really feel like that's me, that I resonate a lot with that, and have always felt like I've been some kind of a guide or a teacher or a shaman in a lot of my past lives. So to help awaken people and bring love. So and
I think that's why
an Egyptian
that's really
brought that up too. So
I think that's why that's the context of what we're trying to get across on this video, is that we only want to help.
Right.
And this is genuine. But we need your help. We need your help as well. We need listeners' help. We need
interaction.
People out there.
We need to know what people need to know.
Yeah.
That they want to learn. Like if you have a particular issue or you're having a reoccurring dream. For one thing, I've recently learned over the last 6 to 8 months that I have a new gift, an intuitive gift of dream discernment. I've had both Derek and coworker Emily come up with some recurring dreams that they were having, and help them interpret it, the meaning and what it meant for them both internally and what they're going through and up until then. And so I do believe that that's part of one of my gifts, is to help people interpret dreams. So if you're having recurring dreams, you don't know what it means, but it's plaguing you, and you feel like it's meaning something, you need to find out what it is, and you're having trouble, you can feel free to maybe reach out on the podcast here, and we can set up Q&A, or we can even do future, we brought that up before, episodes, and discuss certain topics that you guys want us to discuss, things that go on in your life. We can go into that. We can literally look up certain things. If you know, because I do think that with the combination of spirit and intuition, along with, and the insights and downloads, along with like ChatGPT, things like that, you know, we're starting to learn how to integrate a lot of these things to make them work for us and make it real life, real world, like make it make more sense to us through ChatGPT and things. So that's how I've begun using it in combination with spirit, and it's really helped me a lot, helping clear like a little bit of cloudiness, like maybe I don't quite understand it yet, and it helped clear it up for me to better understand what the message is. So, but that's something I think we really want to know is, what are you guys dealing with? What are you wanting to know? What are you going through in your life that you need help with? That's what we're here to help with. We feel like we have a calling to do that, and we've been through our initiation. We're still going through different levels of initiation, but we believe this is our next level. You know, wanting to offer that to people to be a guide, because we've gone through all this for a reason. Why not help others with the information, how we grew through that and began to heal through that and change our own lives and our external realities with that knowledge and the experience that we went through. So that's what we want to do.
So I would just say, please start with any kind of question that maybe you want any kind of guidance on or an answer on, or even if you have to make up a fake story. Like if you're really too afraid to come out, you can always do the typical, well, I have a friend that has this. That's perfectly okay.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend. That's perfectly okay. Just know that we are here in light and love, and we only want to help. And that's it. And come join us.
And not only that, connect you all to your own intuition eventually through your awakening. You'll learn how to seek your own guidance. You know, we don't want people to blindly, you know, follow us. We're here to enlighten people, to help activate them into their own awakening, and then learn how to trust your own intuition, because it is like going to the gym and building a muscle. You got to build it through experience, through relying on it, through listening to it and connecting with it. You got to exercise it regularly, and then you begin to build the trust. You know, it's like any other relationship. You got to build that trust. So, you know, we're here to help guide you into that process. We're not here to tell you you have to listen to us. We're here to help activate you, help guide you on that journey into your inner, activating it with you and the divine inside yourself, and learning who you really are on a soul level and what makes you happy. Because that's what we're here to do too, is help people activate them into their life purpose. It could be helping kids, it could be helping the environment, it could be doing whatever. It gives you passion and makes you happy, makes you feel fulfilled in life, that you feel drawn to do, something that makes you happy. And that's also what we want to help people do, is guide them into their life purpose. So, because you have a purpose, everybody does. So
yeah. So, but I'm not going to promise that I'm going to know always the answers, but Jasmine's here, and we have people at our disposal that we can always reach out to. But your first job, is to contact us and start the dialogue, and that would be really exciting. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Right, and then begin, trying to listen, try to use your own, gut feeling and listen, because your gut will tell you even early in your awakening what feels right and resonates with you, what kind of feels a little off and icky, by how you feel in your gut. So it'll tell you.
That's true.
What you need, what resonates for you that we say, and what doesn't. So, all right. Well, I think that's a good wrap. I think on what we really wanted to share about what we've been going through, and kind of do a combination joint episode. We've been talking about it, and I think this went really well. So I'm excited. I'm gonna just put the intention out there that it'll meet the people that it'll be put in front of the people that needs to see it, and that they will be reaching out to us when they need to reach out to us for help. So,
welcome
any
aboard.
last words, Anthony?
No, just welcome aboard. Trust and faith,
exactly.
Light and love.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me again for the Ethereal Pathways podcast. And thank you, Anthony, for joining in on this. I'm always glad to have you. We always go along so well. And I wanted to let everybody know, just like, comment, subscribe, even hit the share button. You don't have to share it. That helps the algorithm. It helps, show it in front of more people in an audience so it can get in front of them and help them as well. So any little thing you can do like that greatly helps the channel. And I just wanted to thank you in advance, if you feel guided to do that. I just thank you. And I hope to see you for a future episode, and we leave you in love and light.
Bye, guys.
It's like a fire burning through my chest. It's time to